Hi everyone, welcome back. I have today a seashell mould from Moulds and Shapes, and I'm going to be using a combination of pigments and textures from Create and Bloom Crafts and Just For You online. So some of the pigments are new, some of them have been used before, and I'll go through each one and talk about them a wee bit more as we go through. I'm also using the amazing Apex One Coat resin from Just For You. So I've mixed up some of the champagne pigment, and this is a kind of very soft, creamy, pearly colour, and I want this as my base coat. So I want it to fill roughly about a third of the depth of the mould. I just want a nice thick base that I can then add all the other colours and textures to. So just spreading it out gently, letting the resin do its thing, and just wait till it sets the next day. I have some clear resin that I'm going to leave a wee drop in a cup, and a mixture of some cups and bowls for mixing up the colours. Now some of this is a wee bit off screen at the moment just as I'm pouring it out, but you will get to see all the different things being mixed up shortly. There we go, keeping some of the clear resin for later on. So the first one I haven't used before, Mountain Rose, and I would love to be able to peel these seals off of pots, but I'm so rubbish at them, so I end up just stabbing it, and yeah, give it a wee mix and then put some into the resin. Next up is a ballet slipper, and that's a powder from Just For You online that mixes up beautifully, a pinky peachy colour. Then we have some salvia from Create and Bloom, beautiful green. And then we have a pearl pigment, which is one of our new pigments from Create and Bloom, and that is called Leaf Vein, and that's a pearly green colour, dark green. Almost emerald, but not quite. I might be a wee bit rubbish at describing colours, but bear with me because you'll see it better once it gets mixed up. And this one, I'm just having a little mix as well, and adding that to, well, see, I couldn't really decide. This is Hummingbird, it's another pearl pigment. I couldn't decide whether Leaf Vein or Hummingbird should go in, but I've decided on Leaf Vein. So this is the ballet slipper pigment, beautiful. Those pots are quite handy because it stops the resin getting too deep and stops it setting too quickly. And we have some salvia. This is a kind of all-round green colour. I use it quite a lot. Obviously I'm doing all my mixing as I usually do. Mix, 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 think it's finished, mix it again. This is the Mountain Rose. Actually, do you know what? I think I've made a mistake. I'm just going to keep talking, okay? Nobody will notice. This one I'm mixing now is Ballet Slipper, and the kind of similar-ish colour at the top right, that is Mountain Rose. I got the two of them crossed over. Never mind. So we're going to put a wee bit of coral in here. I want it a wee bit more peachy than pink, and that's just mixed up beautifully. Oh, I really do over-mix everything, don't I? So as I said, I'm just mixing up, making sure everything's all combined, and it's just off the side of the screen. I couldn't fit absolutely everything into the shot. I've added a tiny wee bit of a kind of bright orange mica powder, just to give it a bit more of a tint of orange. That was just slightly too pink. I'm just trying, mixing all different things, to be honest, because it might work or it might not work, and we'll just go with whatever happens. So yeah, decided to go for the leaf vein, as that was the closest to what I had thought would work. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous pearl. So shiny. Mix, mix, mix. I need to cut out all the mixing. I need to edit it out of future videos. It's far too long. Anyway, see what I mean? I just can't stop mixing. Okay, so I'm going to put bands of colour, starting at the top with my sort of darkest colour. Bands of colour as we go down the seashell. And I'll probably do a couple of layers anyway of this. To begin with, I have gaps in between the resin. At this point, I'm not going to lie, I did have a wee bit of a wobble, because I wasn't sure which one to use next. So this is more of a coppery tone in it because of the orange that I added. And I'm kind of wondering whether I made the right choice in doing that. But yeah, we'll see. So I've added a bit of white to the mountain rose because I just thought the two colours looked very, very similar. So just a wee bit of white just to bring it down a wee bit. And then add that on at the bottom there. Once I've stirred it, obviously. Oh my goodness. I really do stir too much. Right, there we go. So that's the fourth colour. And I'm like really doubting whether this is going to look any good or not, to be honest with you. I tried a colour card that gives you sort of a colour palette idea, and tried to match up colours with that. A very quick photo at the end of the video just to kind of show you what I mean. And actually, once it's all dry and cured, it looks really good. But at this point in time, I was almost just stopping the video because I thought it's just going to turn out horribly. But yeah, you'll see what happens. So all I need to do now is start to blend the layers together. So I'm just pouring out the very last drops out of each pot. And you see how the resin's beginning to spread on its own, so it's filling out to the sides. It's filling up the gaps in between each colour. And I'm just making sure that each colour band is as full as I can get it without overspilling. Okay, so as I said, I just need to start to blend the layers together. I think at this point I was sitting watching the colours thinking, oh my god, what have I done? This doesn't look right. and I sat and stared at it, forgetting that I was actually videoing as well. So that was the big long blank piece of video. Never mind, we'll just keep going and see what happens. I'm also trying to tidy up the mess as I go along, but it's not very easy. I've got a tiny little bit of workspace. Yeah, and I do make quite a bit of mess here. So here's me blending in each of the colours. And honestly, at this point, I was really regretting having even picked these colours, never mind blending them together. Everything was sticky, everything was covered in resin. I didn't know if it was going to work out properly. I just had to keep going and hope for the very best. A bit of the kind of copper really has been sort of, I suppose, it's been sort of covered over a wee bit by some of the green, but I'm hoping bits kind of show through as it starts to cure. So the clear bit at the bottom, I'm just pouring that in just to make sure it's all levelled up and that there's a wee bit of resin right at the bottom there. Again, just kind of blend it in a wee bit. I just can't seem to be 100% happy, and I really just need to stop and let it cure and see what happens. So the next day I have put some white streaks across some of the resin. That's going to be my waves. I have put the heat gun onto the low setting. It's taken a wee bit longer, but I didn't want to burn my mould. I don't know if I would do this again, to be honest. I think this was just a kind of one-time experiment of doing the heat gun while it's in the mould. I'm actually a wee bit scared that I was going to burn it, so I don't think I'll do that again. I think I'll take it out before I add any extra heat into the resin. But the waves are sort of beginning to happen. I'm still practicing this. I'm still getting used to it. It's not brilliant, to be fair. It's really not brilliant, but it's beginning to sort of look the way I was hoping it would look. The heat gun's quite good for popping any little tiny bubbles as well. But as long as you keep the gun moving and you don't stay in one spot, as soon as you put too much heat in one place, it just flash cures, and then you've got no movement left in the resin. It's rock solid. And you really need to have the resin still liquid so that you can push the white pigment up to make waves. I'm very nearly finished making some of these waves now. Just trying to get the most out of it before I run out of time. There's definitely a technique for using the heat gun for waves, and I've not quite perfected it by any means. So I'm just going to keep practicing. There's something missing. What can it be? I've got some pigment, I've got some resin, I've got some waves. What do you think's missing? It's just something missing. Oh, I think I've remembered there's no glitter on it yet. Can't be a finished art piece until there has some glitter. So yeah, I need to find some glitter and some texture. So where the copper band is, sort of in the middle of the seashell, I want to add some crushed glass in there just to give it a wee bit of texture as it's just lying on top of the resin. But I need to wait until the resin's quite tacky that it doesn't sink to the very bottom. So a wee sprinkle just to kind of highlight that copper band, because I think I could have kept that a wee bit thicker, and defined it a wee bit more. So if I put some of the glass in, it might kind of make it look okay. If in doubt, chuck glitter at it. And yeah, I think I'm using a combination of just about everything I can find now. Some peachy, pinky glitter at the bottom there to tie in with the orange colours, and then some at the top needs to tie in with the kind of blue-green colours of the top pigment for the leaf vein. Basically, I just went through my glitter. Anything that looked vaguely suitable, I was chucking it on. The glitter was literally going everywhere. All over the floor, all over me, all over the table. So I'm away to find some glitter for the top bit. I can't remember offhand. Spirited, and I can't remember the other one, this one that I'm using. But hopefully you'll be able to pause the video and you'll be able to kind of, is it Serenity? Not sure, I'm really testing myself now. This is definitely Spirited, and this just gives it a lovely greenish, goldish colour. But I really like the blue up there. I think that just defines each of the bands across the mould. Now, ta-da, it's tomorrow and it's cured, and we're taking it out of the mould. A wee bit nervous, not going to lie, because I'm not entirely sure how it's going to look. So here we go. The back's beautiful. And that's our finished seashell piece with lots of layers, lots of different pigments, lots of texture, and lots of sparkle. And I'll add a couple of photos at the end here just for a close-up. Thank you so much. Please comment, please ask me any questions. And I hope you'll come back and see me for my next video. Thanks very much. Bye.